Have you ever been asked to solve a problem before anyone has clearly defined what the problem actually is? Maybe you've heard someone say, "We need a new system, we need more staff, or we need a new program." But how do we know that's actually what we need? Before we can identify the right solution, we need to understand the gap between where we are now and where we want to be. That's exactly what a needs assessment helps us to do. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Katie Linder, a certified project manager, change manager, and coach who works full-time leading and supporting teams in higher education. On this channel, I offer real-world examples of how project management translates into the higher ed environment. If you're looking for ways to use project management tools and skills, both professionally and personally, to bring more ease to your work and life, you're in the right place. At its most basic level, a needs assessment is a structured process for identifying and understanding gaps between a current state and a desired future state. In other words, it helps answer questions like, where are we now? Where do we want to be? What's preventing us from getting there? And what should we focus on first? One of the reasons needs assessments are so valuable is that they encourage us to gather evidence before making decisions. Instead of assuming we know what people need, we take the time to investigate. Instead of jumping directly to solutions, we first seek to understand the situation. That process can save organizations significant time, money, and effort. I often think of needs assessments as a way to avoid solving the wrong problem. Let's say a department believes they need a new software platform. After conducting a needs assessment, they might discover that the real challenge isn't technology at all. Perhaps staff members haven't been trained effectively, communication processes are inconsistent, or existing systems aren't being used to their full capacity. Without a needs assessment, it's easy to invest resources into a solution that doesn't address the underlying issue. A good needs assessment helps ensure that decisions are based on evidence rather than assumptions. Many people associate needs assessments with large strategic initiatives, but they can be useful in a wide variety of situations. You might conduct a needs assessment before launching a new program, implementing technology, redesigning a process, creating a professional development initiative, developing a strategic plan, or introducing a significant organizational change. Anytime you're considering a major investment of resources, a needs assessment can help ensure you're moving in the right direction. In higher education, needs assessments are especially useful because our institutions often serve multiple stakeholder groups with different needs and priorities. A needs assessment helps bring those perspectives together. While every needs assessment is different, most include several common components. The first is understanding the current state. This involves gathering information about how things work today. What processes exist? What challenges are people experiencing? What data are available? What concerns are stakeholders raising? The second component is defining the desired future state. What outcomes are we hoping to achieve? What would success look like? How would we know that improvement has occurred? Once both of those pieces are clear, the next step is identifying the gap between the current state and the desired future state. That gap represents the need. From there, organizations can begin exploring potential solutions and determining which interventions are most likely to close the gap. There are many ways to collect information during a needs assessment. One common approach is conducting interviews. Individual conversations often provide rich context and allow people to share experiences in their own words. Surveys can also be helpful, especially when you're trying to gather input from a large number of stakeholders. Focus groups create opportunities for discussion and can reveal themes that might not emerge through surveys alone. Document reviews can provide insight into existing policies, procedures, reports, and strategic plans. And data analysis can help identify trends, performance gaps, or areas of concern. The most effective needs assessments typically use multiple methods rather than relying on a single source of information. When different forms of evidence point towards similar conclusions, confidence in the findings increases. Let's imagine a university is concerned about declining participation in faculty development programs. At first glance, leadership may conclude that faculty simply aren't interested, but a needs assessment might tell a different story. Through interviews and surveys, the institution could learn that faculty value professional development, but struggle to attend because sessions are scheduled during teaching hours. Data analysis might reveal that participation rates are highest when programs are offered asynchronously. Additional conversations could uncover a desire for shorter, more targeted learning opportunities. Notice how the solution becomes much clearer once the institution understands the actual needs. Without the needs assessment, leaders may have focused on increasing marketing efforts, when scheduling and format were the real barriers. One of the most common mistakes is starting with a preferred solution and then conducting a needs assessment simply to justify it. A needs assessment should be an exploration, not a confirmation exercise. Another mistake is relying on a single source of information. If you only talk to one stakeholder group, you'll likely miss important perspectives. It's also important to avoid collecting more information than you can realistically analyze and use. A needs assessment should provide actionable insights, not create an overwhelming amount of data that never informs decision-making. And finally, it's important to remember that not every identified need can be addressed immediately. Prioritization is a critical part of the process. Needs assessments are often the foundation of successful projects. Before defining scope, building a timeline, assigning resources, or selecting solutions, project teams need a clear understanding of the problem they're trying to solve. A well-executed needs assessment provides that foundation. It helps ensure that projects are aligned with stakeholder needs, organizational goals, and evidence-based decision-making. Whether you're leading a strategic initiative, launching a new program, implementing technology, or managing organizational change, a needs assessment can help ensure you're solving the right problem before investing in a solution. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you ever conducted a needs assessment, or have you participated in one as a stakeholder? What was your experience? And if you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content on project management, leadership, and change management in higher education. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.